generation sitting here deciding just what we're gonna do. Doesn't make a lot of sense if only someone knew how to change the thinking of one power-hungry land. Afraid to say they blew it, made a lot of people mad. How can someone analyze stupidity and flaw? We should all get together, push them up against the wall, shake them down.
Welcome to the Coachella Valley Music Show. I'm your host, Bonnie Gilgallon. Our guests for this show are local hometown girl Shakeh, who's an adult contemporary eclectic singer, and Shirley Evaro of the well-known musical Evaro family. And now, on with the show. Joined by the fabulous Shirley Evaro from the well-known Evaro family. If you've lived in the desert for more than about 6 months, you know the Evaro family. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So now you have a large family, right?
Yes.
How many are there total?
My immediate, there's 7, and one passed away a few years ago.
Oh,
yeah.
And the whole family's musical, correct?
Yes.
And that's, I mean, you're just kind of born and grown up in it. It's
yeah.
just sort of the family business.
It's from my great-grandfather to my grandfather to my father to my grandmother to all the aunts and uncles, cousins, and now I think we're at 6 generations now.
Now, does everybody sing and some people play instruments also, or how does that work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, everybody sings, everybody plays an instrument, and if they don't play it, out in public, they're a singer.
Okay.
And if they do, they do both. And some don't. Some are just like, just a keyboardist or a. But yeah, everybody does something.
And so, you sing, and do you also play something?
Yes, I play keys.
Okay.
Keyboards,
and
piano.
Is everyone kind of active right now, out playing somewhere?
Yes.
So where do you play?
I've been at. Trilogy. I've been at Citrus. I've been recently at Indian Wells Country Club. I've been at the River because I'm entertainment director at the River.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So the River. We've done, all kinds of venues like the Tamale Festival and the Date Festival, and my brothers are at Sammy G. Tuscan Grill.
Yes.
My father's at the Fire Cliff, and my husband is at Mitch's and Trilogy and Indian Wells, and we're everywhere.
Now, normally when you play in general, are you by yourself, are you with your husband, or how many pieces do you normally have?
Oh boy.
Does it depend a lot?
Yeah. It depends on, let's say if my dad needs a singer, then I go with my dad, or my sister goes with my dad, my sister Sherry. If they need if Tamale Festival called and said we need a 7-piece.
Right.
So we use the 5 of us or the 4 of us, and then we'll add in the wives that sing, or we'll get a cousin or my daughter, Shannon, or I'll get relatives. You know, we have so many to choose from.
Pretty much you can pick up the phone and you'll find somebody.
Yeah, we
right?
find somebody, and we've even had to fill in a spot where we throw mom in there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Now, how would you describe? Do you guys sing a little bit of everything, or how would you describe your style, or is it a specific genre, or just kind of cover?
No, I think our family is probably one of the most versatile families there is out there. We do everything from old school to from standards all the way to salsa and flamenco.
Right.
My husband plays flamenco guitar. He's from South America, Chile, by the way. And our whole family does like disco and rock and roll, and I mean everything. We cover everything, including country and boleros, you know, the old-fashioned, beautiful, Edie Gourmet type stuff.
Right.
We do everything.
Now, does the family? When did you come to the desert? Have you been in the desert forever and ever and ever? Okay.
Yes. My dad came in 1960, I believe it was.
Okay.
I was only 6 months old at the time. Don't do the math.
Yeah.
And and after that, we all just stayed here. Dad worked at the Howard Manor with Lou Malby and all the big boys, and that's how they searched Dad out playing in El Centro in the Imperial Valley.
Wow.
And the Lou Malby found him while they went and stopped to have a drink at the Airport Inn, I believe it was, and got my dad and said, I have a beautiful place, the Howard Manor. Yeah, and my first debut was with Jack Dempsey. Dad sat me on his piano bar, and I think I was 4 years old.
Wow.
And he sat me at the piano bar, and I sang Strangers in the Night.
At 4 years old?
At 4 years old, you know, we'd be making love before the night was through. I says, "What were you thinking, Dad?"
Really?
But, you know, what are you thinking? And so Jack Dempsey came and handed me a $5 bill, and Chuck Connors was out there at the same time too. You know, so we've grown up with everybody around.
Now, I know we don't have a lot of time, so I want to get this in. You guys were on the Gong Show, and you won.
Yes.
You won. So
Yes.
tell us, and this is the
Gong,
here, right?
the original Gong Show trophy right here.
So tell us about that experience and what that whole...
Oh, it was the best experience ever. You know, at the time, we were getting ready to release one hit at that time that came out way back in the 70s, and somebody decided to put us on the Gong Show. I think it was my mom and the family, and so we decided to go and try out for it. And Chuck Barris loved us so much that he shut down the whole Burbank studios just to have the family. We ordered pizzas in for us, and we had the best time with Chuck Barris. And later on, we came to film, you know, to do the show, and Gavin MacLeod was one of the, just it was just a great time to be on that show. Yeah. And then when they came out with Dangerous Minds with Chuck Barris, they came and did an interview, and then Desert Sun, the Desert Sun ended up awarding our family on the Walk of Stars. We got a star on the Walk of Stars, and yeah. So
now, what would happen if, this is a crazy question, is there anyone in the family who's not interested in performing, doesn't want to, is not, I want to do this, I want to do something else? What would happen? I mean, is that just like,
we would look at them and say, why?
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Yeah.
Mostly, you get everybody that's doing that. You know, you get everybody that wants to perform. They want a part of it. They're born into it.
Yeah.
It's hard not to. My mom told Rolling Stones magazine one time is that they asked her, well, did you give your kids a rattle, and did they like the rattle? My mom goes, no, we gave them maracas when they were little, and that's what they learned. You know, and it's the truth. That's what we were born into. That I didn't know that we did anything else.
What else?
You know, my dad, we would listen to them as they would rehearse inside the living room, and my aunts and my uncles, and you know, we would just sit there.
It sounded like fun. Why not?
Yeah, you know, and there was times when Trini Lopez and family members and got together and stuff, and we would end up performing. They would wake us up. You don't have to go to school tomorrow if you guys perform. And so we would.
What kid is going to say no to that?
We would get up and we would get our clothes on and we'd come out and perform.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the way we grew up.
Now, so you are where? Are you someplace regularly right now?
Yeah, you can get me at church, at the Living Water Church.
Okay.
I do music there every Sunday and Wednesdays, and I love.
What about a website or CDs of you and your family or videos? Where can people see that?
You can just, when you just see us, we have it available. You can see my CD, Jesus Breaking Through, in all over the world. It's on. You can get it on iTunes and Rhapsody, and you know, it's a gospel CD.
Okay.
And a lot of us are gospel singers as well.
Okay.
You know.
And is there, say somebody said, wow, I'd like to hire the whole family, or I'd like to hire Shirley and her husband. How, is there a way to get hold of you?
Oh yeah, we mainly use Facebook a lot.
Facebook.
Yeah, and you know, besides that, everybody just knows really the name.
Yes.
And they know our family, and they know where to go to find us, and it's been a real blessing. People do get a hold of us, and we are busy.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Now, are there ever any little family spats? I mean, when you have all these creative people and egos flying around, do you always get along?
No.
Okay. Just honest, yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, yes, we do.
Yeah.
You know, of course, there's brotherly and sisterly, little annoying times, but no, other than that, we're just a really close-knit family. I mean, close.
Yeah. Now, does anyone in the family, do you ever write any original stuff, or does it?
Yes.
Okay.
My whole CD is original.
Okay.
And a lot of what we do, my brothers have a great original out right now. They're working on it, to releasing it. And in fact, Joey Covington, he was.
Talk a little bit about that. I know you did.
Yeah, I did the tribute to Joey Covington, and my brothers were working with Joey because Joey really wanted my brothers that CD. It's called You, You're All I Need, and it is amazing. That is like Santana style stuff, and I think Joey really seen a lot of potential in that song, and even said, "Hey guys, if you're not going to do anything with it, give it to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'll buy it from you. I'll put it out there." And that's what they were doing right before he passed. Joey got in the accident and died, and David Ross Productions asked me to asked me to go and do this tribute to him, and I was able to represent my family because everybody was gone.
Yeah.
And Jerry and them and Jimmy were up in I think Tahoe or something, and performing, and it was just a really sweet time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what is the one CD of yours, the gospel?
Jesus Breaking Through.
Jesus Breaking Through.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah. That's one of the feature songs. It's called Just Because of Jesus.
Just Because of Jesus.
Yeah, and you can find that everywhere. Amazon, you know, iTunes, and yeah.
Well, Shirley Evaro, it's wonderful to meet you. I met your sister Sherry before, but I haven't met you before. Thank you so much.
Thank you, honey. Nice to be with you. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye, baby, bye bye bye. You make me crazy, I don't know why. Bye bye, baby, bye bye bye. Don't want you to cry, cry, cry. The cold is a broken hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
This edition of the Coachella Valley Music Show is Shakeh. I'll make sure I get that right. She's an adult contemporary eclectic singer and a local girl who grew up in Thermal. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm just totally thrilled to be here. This is great.
First, I have to ask you about your name because it's such an unusual, very pretty, unusual name. Is that a family name?
It's an Armenian name. The American equivalent of Shakeh is actually Charlotte, and they actually pronounce it Shakeh, but I liked Shakeh, so I changed a little bit. And also, it comes from an Arabic root, which means to open a window to let light in, so I am pretty darn cosmic.
That's great. That's a great name to have. So tell us about, did you start singing very young? How did music come into your life?
always was making up songs in my head. I still remember my first song I made up in my head coming back from the Desert Club, back when there was a real Desert Club, with my sister in the back of the station wagon, and it's just always been something that was in me to do.
And did you start playing guitar at that same time, or?
Didn't start playing guitar until later. My mother really wanted me to play the piano, and I struggled with that. I just couldn't get it. So later on in high school, I ended up taking up the guitar.
And are you totally self-taught?
Mostly self-taught. I took a few lessons, but I don't know. I'm kind of a little dyslexic on stuff, so sometimes I can't learn the same way. So.
And you write a lot of your own music, correct?
Yeah, most of what I do, I write. I do a lot of covers, anything from Adele to Sinatra otherwise, but yeah, I write a lot.
And so you grew up here,
right.
And then you said, I know you left the desert for a while and then came back. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always had a foot here because my mother was here, and then she passed away a couple years ago, so then I purchased the house. So I have the house here in a place in Lawndale, which is the South Bay, and just trying to get another foothold here, but it's a very interesting scene because it's sort of like some things have never changed and other things are very, very different in the desert.
What's different? So you were gone how long? About?
Oh, let's say that I actually didn't really live here probably since like the 80s.
So you were gone 20 some years.
I mean, in and out,
but yeah. Wow. So So what are the biggest things that have changed as far as musically?
Well, musically, of course, there wasn't half as many things going on.
Yeah.
There weren't all these big clubs. There weren't all these venues for things and the country clubs and stuff. And I think the thing that upset me the most was when Jefferson no longer went all the way through. It's like, you just can't go home. You can't. All the streets are different. But there's definitely a lot more going on here than there was when I was growing up.
And how did you develop your style of music? How did that evolve?
That's a really good question. You know, when I was little, my mother would not let me listen to rock and roll. So I was listening to My Fair Lady and South Pacific and all the musicals and stuff. And then when I got away from there, then I started, definitely into all the songwriters, singer-songwriters like the Carole Kings, James Taylor, all of that. And it just kind of snowballed. You know, I don't like doing any just one genre. So it's not like I didn't want to be just like a blues singer, a jazz singer. I kind of incorporate a lot of different things.
Now you play solo, just you and your guitar, but you also sometimes work with a cellist and a percussionist.
Yes.
And tell me about how you got together with those folks. And I've heard them, and they're wonderful. The trio is wonderful.
They're two amazing musicians. Dwayne Roquet is the percussionist, and Brian Asher is the cellist. And it's pretty good stories about how I met both of them. Dwayne I met first about 12 years ago, and I was playing at a church in Redondo Beach, and he was singing with the choir. So I was the soloist, and he saw me. And when I'm playing, I can be very, very single-minded. You know, I'm just like, I'm business, I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm in my zone. Yeah, you can talk to me, but, will I pay attention? Maybe yes, maybe no.
Yeah.
So Dwayne came up to me and, cute guy, and said, I'm a percussionist, I do this, I do that. And I'm like, yeah. So whatever.
We'll see.
So, so I didn't care, and so he actually came up to the pew where I was sitting before he left and just gave me a card and ran off. And about 8 months later, I called him because I was desperate for a percussionist. And of course, he's brilliant. So we played together ever since then. Now, Brian, I just met more recently about 2 years ago, and Brian played on my CD, did a brilliant job, and Dwayne and I were supposed to do an art gallery opening. So I got there, and Brian was unloading his stuff out of the car. I go, what's going on? He goes, well, Dwayne told me I could come sit in. So I said, okay, that's fine. So we get there, and we pull out our instruments. Well, then Dwayne calls in, and he's sick. So it's just the two of us. We've never played before. We're just looking at each other going, okay, we got 2 hours and here we go. And Brian's got an incredible ear. So we did one song and we looked at each other and go,
that worked okay.
That worked okay. Did a second song and it's like, that was even better. So then we looked at each other and go, what happens if we rehearse? So ever since then, that's been going on. So it's great.
Now, tell us about the CD. You do have a CD. Now, is this? Do you have several on the market, or?
I probably got about 5 or 6 CDs. All my CDs are available on CD Baby, Amazon, downloads on iTunes, all of that. And this one was just done a couple months ago. So I'm really proud of it. It's called Songs of My Soul.
Why don't we, if you'd like to play a little bit for us, so we can hear a
Sure.
Shakeh.
Well, one of the things was when I grew up here in the desert, there was all the Spanish radio stations. And I was intrigued not so much by the music, but the DJs. Because they would be there, Radio Mundo, la música, la, 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 right? And so I just decided to write a song called Radio Mundo. When I was little, I would listen to the Spanish radio. Canciones de amor. Didn't understand a single word they said, but the music touched my soul. Radio Mundo, Radio Mundo, viva la música. Radio Mundo, Radio Mundo, viva la música. Viva la música. Ole.
Wow. Do you want to give us a taste of something else? Something a little
Yeah, let's
different?
go something totally the other way. Angels never look away, watching over us, no matter what we say. When we lose our way and our lives go dark, we think we're never gonna get up again. That's when they pray, and how they pray, when angels pray.
Wow, that's pretty.
Thank you.
I've always wondered about people who write, whether it's music or poetry. Whatever. Do you get inspiration in the middle of the night? Do you wake up and think, oh, I have this song, I have to write it down, I have to go play it? Or do you sort of set aside time each day to just let the creative juices flow and see what comes?
It's really best to start off in the morning, write a couple pages in your journal, and sit down. But I just haven't been able to do that so much lately. I find that it all comes in little pieces. It's like I'll have a concept for something, and it's almost like it kind of stays in my head, and like you said, it kind of marinates a little bit. So sometimes in the middle of the night, what I think is interesting is a lot of times I'll get the answer to a hard place when I'm in a small space, like either driving in the car where it's contained
In
or
the
in
shower.
Yeah, something about that, I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Now, you just, you were showing me a video, you just did a psalm festival,
Right,
is it right? With
right.
the
My
trio.
cellos.
And tell us about that.
Well, actually, it was just Brian and I, and it was called Psalm Fest. If you go onto my YouTube channel, it's the last thing that we entered in there. And it was a celebration of all these different choirs, all these different churches celebrating the Psalms and songs of peace. So When Angels Pray was one of the songs I did there with him, and it was really cool because it was just him and me on this big old stage, and we rocked it.
Now, did someone hear you somewhere, or how did you get involved in that?
Well, St. Peter's Church is Brian's church, and so they know us, they know what we do, and so they invited us to perform there to represent them.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Now, I first met you when you did one of your house concerts. So explain to people what that is. It's a really great idea. Concept.
Well, it's a really cool way to see music and hear music and experience music, because you can be really up close and personal with the musicians. So picture, here we are in my 70s vintage sunken living room, and it's me and Brian and Dwayne, and then just about as close as you are to me, that's the audience. Everybody's
and
all
it's like
sitting around.
10, 15 people. Very intimate.
Yeah,
Right?
very, very intimate. I mean, we've actually gotten as many as almost 40 people in there, but
Wow.
usually like 15, 20, it's a really good number.
And how many of those have you done now?
Oh, I've probably done about 8 or 10 of them in the last couple of years. I really enjoy doing it, and hope to expand on that in the desert.
And do you have word of mouth? People tell people. I mean, you invite some friends, and then some people that don't know you don't know.
It always falls together. It's always really interesting the way sometimes we have a couch full of Canadians that we met at an art gallery opening, or some family people. So it's always a real different, really cool, eclectic group of people, and it's always really fun.
Now, where can you have a website first
Yes.
of all? And what is that? And how can people find out about you?
If you go into www.shakeh.com, which is SHAKEH, that's my site. But if you really want to get some action, you want to go to the YouTube channel, because that's got over 80 videos. And that's my full name. So if you go into YouTube and you go Shakeh Herbekian, which would be SHAKEH, then HERBEKIAN, then that'll bring up all the videos. And you can certainly email me through my site if you'd like to be on the email list. And,
Or hire you for an event or something.
Absolutely. We always take money. however it comes.
Oh, tell us the story about the guitar. I know you have a great story about that guitar.
Well, this is a really amazing, beautiful, very expensive Taylor guitar. And I won this guitar. I didn't spend a cent on this guitar. And the way it came about was my good girlfriend is married to Cyril Pahinui, who's a Grammy-winning Hawaiian slack key artist who I've opened for. And so I was working the booth this time, helping them sell CDs. And this was at the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center for the first Slack Key Festival that they have now annually in January. So I took a break. I walk over to where they had the raffle prizes, and I look at the picture of this beautiful guitar. And I just looked at that. I said, you know, I'm going to win that guitar. Like, I mean, I just knew it. And it's not like I'm really lucky or anything, but I just felt like I was going to win it. But I didn't have any money for any tickets. So I go, well, there goes that. And then my friend Shell comes up to me, gives me 2 tickets, and says, here, Shakeh, this is for helping us in the booth and for your birthday. I said, oh, good, now I can win the guitar. And she's like, yeah, sure. So there we were, a couple thousand people, Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center, and they pick up the ticket and they go, and the guitar goes to, and I stood on my screen, that's me!
That is great.
And I took it home, opened it up. I wasn't sure if I should keep it at first because I really needed the money for rent, but I did. So I'm glad. It was quite a gift.
Absolutely. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, again, Shakeh, I'm going to get that right, Songs of My Soul. And again, you can get this through CD Baby or your website?
CD Baby, Amazon, iTunes, it's all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrific. And are you going to be playing anywhere live right around town that someone can come see you?
You know, I'm going to actually be here on May 4th. That's a Sunday for the Vintage Show from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that's going to be in the Spa Casino parking lot. And then otherwise, I have shows in, I'm just going to pick out a couple here. I'm going to be playing at Malibu and Vine. They're in Malibu on May 24th from 2 to 4. On May 17th, I'm actually going to be playing for Alan O'Day's Memorial, which is really important to me. And then we're doing every first Thursday at Art Life South Bay, which is a wonderful little art gallery. We always have a guest there from 7 until 9. And I have a lot of dates coming up at the El Calibre Hotel in Cambria. And those are pretty much all on my site, but just really quickly, June, July, August, September, and November dates at the El Calibre. Because I love the Central Coast, do a lot of wineries and things up there.
Great. All right. Thank you so much, Shakeh. Thank you for being on the show.
Bonnie.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Gilgallon. Soon, Coachella Valley Music Show can also be seen on MeTV, Channel 14 on Time Warner Cable, and Channel 20 on Fios. If you would like to buy a 30-second spot on the show, write to Coachella Valley Music Show at AOL.com or call 760-766-6733. Thank you for watching Coachella Valley Music Show, and a big thank you to all our guests. We'll see you next time.